मुख्यमंत्री कॉमरेड पिनाराई विजयन को आमंत्रित करता हूँ।
Dear sisters and brothers, it is with deep sorrow and immense pain that I stand before you all as we commemorate the life and legacy of Comrade Sitaram and pay homage to his inspiring memory. Comrade Sitaram was a Marxist ideologue par excellence. As General Secretary of the CPIM over the last 9 years, he had been leading the party and steering it ahead through some of its most difficult times. Comrade Sitaram's demise comes at a time when Indian democracy and secular polity needed him the most. At a time when communalism is trying to do away secularism, his departure is a big blow and leaves a deep void, one that perhaps cannot be filled. Comrade Sitaram's emergence and pioneering role as a student leader during the national emergency and his 3 consecutive elections as the JNSU president has been mentioned repeatedly. The fact that the JNU community accorded a farewell to him inside its campus is a telling tale of how respected he was by his alma mater and how dear it was to him. It is heartening that even his death, he has inspired the Indian student community, something that he had been doing for around 5 decades. Comrade Sitaram had a sound knowledge of Indian history, society, culture and polity, as well as current affairs and international relations. He was exceptionally well read and was at ease and yet ease in multiple languages, already mentioned here by Karimali. His public speaking skills were exemplary, that his lectures always attracted a huge audience. Comrade Sitaram had the innate ability to explain the principles of Marxism and dialectical materialism in such a way that even the most ordinary minds could make sense of his words. His party classes were widely sought after, especially by the students and the youth. Comrade Sitaram was truly a people's parliamentarian. During his 2 terms as a member of the Rajya Sabha, he always ensured that the issues that affected the ordinary and the poor of our country were addressed first and foremost by the Parliament. To him, national interest means the interest of the people of the nation, and to defend their interest, he would explore all avenues possible. His interventions on the floor of the House often left an indelible mark. As a seasoned leader of the opposition benches, on multiple instances, Comrade Sitaram was able to bring the leaders of various political parties together for the common good. It is in being able to bring about a political consensus on a wide range of issues that he stood out as a true statesman. He had played a seminal role in building the India bloc. The result of the recently concluded general elections underscores how effective the formation of such a platform has been in protecting our democracy and secularism. Comrade Sitaram was convinced that for Indian democracy to sustain its sovereignty and secular federal character should be protected, and that all sections of the people in the country should have an equal say in managing its affairs. He was also sure that unless our democracy is transparent, it will never work in favor of the disadvantaged and the impoverished. His battles on issues like the revocation of Article 370, CAA, electoral bonds, etc., to take a secular and democratic position forward, even at the level of the Supreme Court, underscores that conviction. In this era of neoliberalism, Comrade Sitaram's assessment of the issues related to workers and farmers were spot on. During the recent years, his interventions in mainstreaming the plight have been historical. The fact that the farm laws, a pet legislation of the ruling classes, had to be withdrawn following a committed and sustained struggle by the farmers of our country underlines his farsightedness. As far as the LDF government in Kerala is concerned, we would always count on his guidance and support over the last 8 years. In his absence, it will sorely be missed. It needs to be mentioned that he had played a seminal role in ensuring the participation of various national level political leaders when we organized a protest against the union government at Jantar Mantar, in the backdrop of their encroachments into states' powers and finances. To him, such struggles were essential to defend India's federal structure. I deem it a personal privilege to have been able to work with Comrade Sitaram in the Central Committee and the Polit Bureau of the CPI. In the midst of personal losses and even overlooking his own health, he always remained committed to the responsibilities the party and the society had entrusted upon him. His departure is not just a deep personal loss, but a great loss to the Indian and international communist movements as well. As he did throughout his life, in his passing to Comrade Sitaram espoused the cause of scientific temper and held aloft the spirit of inquiry and reform. A shining star is resting in science. It is with an extremely heavy heart that I pay homage to the memory of our beloved Comrade Comrade Yechury, an extraordinary revolutionary whom the entire country holds in high esteem. Thank you.